give us a prayer. Prayers in.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time asking for understanding, for strength and courage. We ask you to intercede on our behalf in these unnecessary killings. We pray that in the future, all men will be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. We pray in the future that children do not have to see their father gunned down like an animal before their very eyes. We pray in the future that when police stop Black men, they give them the same respect, courtesy, and trust that they give white men. We pray, oh Lord, that you elevate our consciousness so that we can work on one accord to do thy will and not the will of evil men or not the will of those who would suppress other people. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus Christ, or whatever religion you may belong to. Amen.
Amen.
Man.
I want to remind, we did 8 podcasts. And when me and Bobby first got together, we said we wanted to, his time was pressing, my time was pressing. We said, can we do something and maybe do it to the end of the year? So I said, well, I'll do something like once a month. And we ended up doing something almost every week because we kept everything in real time. Situations were coming. Coronavirus came up. Police brutality came up. Gang violence came up. So everything kept in real time. And so rather than try to be programmatic, and just do everything regimental and once a month, we just kept on with what was going on because it was real time. And I think a lot of people miss some things. Some people missed the podcast, a lot of people engaged. So I wanted everybody to kind of go back over the message that we were giving and the solutions that we were coming up with. I just want to remind people real quickly, we talked about racism in America. We talked about reparations. We talked about leaving America. We talked about the Black economy and Black economics. We talked about public safety and accountability. And it was so hard, we had to come back and do a part 2 on it because we weren't able to cover everything. We talked about American justice and the juries of your own peers. We talked about coronavirus, and we talked about the 2020 election and Black vote. So I want to kind of like go from the last to the first, and we can jump around again because we're getting back to Jacob Blake, and when you tie that into this election and the Black vote and solutions, I'm gonna start with you. What do you see? How do you see that? We see a consistent murders of our people in the streets. We're talking about a 2020 election and the Black vote. Clarence, what you feel?
Well, thanks for having me again, Brother Bobby Buck and OG Man and the rest of the panel. Thank you all for having me. It's just a lot going on. Things are being fulfilled, which are in plans that we have no idea about. Sunday night, I'm out here in Montana. I'm in the mobile home here, and this shooting comes up, and I'm looking at it, man, and it's 18 seconds, but it's the most vital 18 seconds of what occurred. Now, since then, last night was the third night of protest. There was a 17-year-old guy that came from Illinois, went up to Kenosha, and he shot someone in the head. And as he was walking away, people started to go after him. And when he fell, he just started shooting in the crowd, ended up killing 2 people last night and shooting another person. And so today, they ended up arresting him. He's got to go to court for extradition to go back to Wisconsin for his trial. Now, according to some of the articles I read, this guy was with another group of militias, if you want to call them, and that's what they are. and they were with the police shaking hands before he did this. Now, after he did this shooting, and when the sirens was coming, according to the article I read, he was running toward the police with his hands up. They let him go by. They let him escape. Now, we know of that doing that. He'd been gunned down right then and there. When we look at Jacob Blake, is just putting his kids in the car to leave the area that he was at, and to see this officer grab him by the back of the shirt. And man, I mean, just let off like every clip he had at point blank, holding this brother, man. The atrocities that continue to go across this nation, we as blacks, we got to beware and be aware. We have to pay attention to law enforcement when they give commands, brother. You know, I was just sharing with the brother yesterday. This brother down in Atlanta, Georgia, he was just killed by a state trooper on the 7th of this month. State trooper ran him off the road and was side by side with the brother in the car. One shot, killed him, shot him dead in the forehead. So, and there's another incident in Louisiana where law enforcement, this just happened, killed another brother with a knife going from one convenience store to another convenience store. And his mother said he had mental issues being around a lot of people. So Jacob Blake is not the only incident, but we glad we have a light on this incident. We need to put a spotlight on every incident, but we as black men and black women and even the children in America, just like the previous podcast you guys presented about moving funds from the police to our communities, we have to stop calling them. We're going to have to work things out in our own community. We as men and women in our community, we have to take control to the violence, the ignorance, the crime, the drug activities. Man, we got to give them all of their stuff back that they have infested us and infected us with. So there's just so much going on, and we're under attack.
On that right there, I want to go to Reverend Shaw and then Clifford. I say quit calling the police. Quit calling the police. They didn't just show up on their own. Quit calling the police. That's all I can keep saying. You know, we need to work things out ourselves, but the one thing we need to do is quit calling the police. You can't keep calling them in the community and then telling them how you want them to police us. That's crazy. I'm going to go with Reverend Shaw, Clifford, and Marshawn. Are we even safe, Reverend Shaw?
Well, sometimes we are and sometimes we aren't. But I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
If a lady is being beat up or being raped, who do we call?
Well, I'll put it like this here. You know, I do a lot of work downtown, you know what I mean, with the brigade. We stop that. We see it, we stop it. We don't call nobody, we stop it.
Okay, I just wanted to start by asking that question, because if you take away something, you have to replace it with something. Now, I'm by no means saying law enforcement about what we have right now is anywhere the best system or the most efficient system. I also do believe, though, that there are things that they can do. Because what we're looking at, when you shoot somebody 7 times in the back with children in the car, you're not talking about law enforcement. You're talking about a killer in a law enforcement uniform. When you see somebody leave their neck on knee on a man's neck, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, you are looking at somebody who has behavior that should have been detected, because in that guy's case, he had something like 17, 18 complaints in his jacket. And there has to be somebody that monitored the behavior based on the amount of complaints. Another thing is, I don't know about in this last situation, but I know, having been an officer and seen some of these things, when you have 8, 9, 10 cops pull up at one time, everybody got their gun on the man on the ground. Somebody's telling him to stand up. Somebody's telling him don't move. Somebody's telling him, and you can't comply with everybody. So, they need a system to where whoever's the first car or the handling car, the senior officer is the only one who can give a command. Because if you tell me to put my hands up and another guy tell me not to move, then I put my hands up. Now I'm moving, he shoot me. If I don't put them up, I'm not complying. So this whole thing, it is more than just coming up with an idea or something off the top of our head. This must be thought through, and because there's a lawlessness that goes, like we've seen in Baltimore, we've seen in different places, when law enforcement are basically just backed up and say, I won't respond to the call, and we all call it in sick. Then all of a sudden we see that we become victims of our own people. So we have to, really strategize, come together and say, what do we want? And then we have to take it to the people and say, this is what we want. But we can't just say out of emotion. We must think about the safety of the children, of everybody else, because Taco came on this program and said that there was 106 blacks killed in Los Angeles, and only 2 of them was killed by police. So if that is true, and we don't know if those 2 were justified or not. So if that's true, we got just as much reason to be afraid of ourselves than we do the police. So we have to look at it in a different way, strategize it out, use our finest minds. And there's people, believe it or not, I'm on a lot of calls and stuff, and some of the best minds are right here on this call. And we strategize it. Not just come up with something, strategize it. Marshawn has come up with a way to handle certain people. They strategize that. They didn't just come up off the top of their head with that. They actually did some work and came up with something logical. So we have to do that. And then we may see change, but there is no justification for shooting a man 7 times in the back who is unarmed, and a damn sure ain't no justification to put that kind of trauma on kids or districts where a ricochet could kill or hurt one of those kids. That is just reckless abandon and no regard for life.
On that note of what do we do? Because I agree on that, on the strategizing plan. So when you ask that question, I've had that situation with downtown law enforcement. You know what I mean? I called it a citizen arrest. They asked me what I would do. I said I would make it a citizen arrest. Okay, so but they had a problem with it. But I didn't have a problem because somebody doing something wrong. Somebody getting raped. I don't have time to go call the police. They're getting raped right then and there. I got to step up and do what I got to do. Okay, I make a citizen arrest. Okay, but on that, what do we do, Clifford? Go ahead.
All right, so it's several things we can do, several things we should do, and several things we must do. Like, for one, calling the police is never good for black people. All right, so how many black people actually grew up in the South like me? I've experienced racism as a single-digit kid in elementary school. First time I can recall being called a nigger by some hateful person, and it meant in a hateful way. When I see things like Brother Blake getting shot, all we see in the South is racism, white supremacy. We see plenty of clips of white people not being shot, coming at the police with guns, knives, aggressive, not being shot, being arrested with no violence to them. Yet we get shot, we get with the little electric things, all that get beat, and then they show it to us on TV, psychological warfare, physical warfare. Then we round in our poor neighborhoods killing each other because we hungry. Bottom line, poverty is why we kill each other. Or some domestic about some poverty. So we need to recognize what's going on. And a lot of people fed up and talking about, yeah, a few bad apples. Well, where are the good cops at? Stopping these bad cops. When you know that the cop was the slave patrol, main focus was black folk. The population in America for black people don't never really rise above 13%. Why is that? You got to look at things and understand what we need to do. So yeah, what we need to do, I completely agree. Don't call the police. You a suspect. Off top, when you call the police and they see black people, you a suspect. Until they can figure out who's telling the truth or not. So you in danger. And if the police is called 9 times out of 10, the crime done already happened by the time the police get there. By the time they get there, the crime done already happened. So now they putting the pieces together and you're already suspect. So then, in order to get out of a situation like the brother say, you really do have to be on some yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir, even if they wrong, to see that if you can get home. You have to swallow your pride to get home, or to get back in the house, or not to go to jail. And that's the way we want to live. And then when people start talking about leaving and having your own, you sound crazy. You want to stay with the enemy and enjoy his fruits and take the chances of him deciding when to kill you or not. Then he put propaganda in your head to make you hate your own brother for whether his age or his skin complexion or the money he got or don't got, or the woman he got or don't got. You know, slaves, this slave stuff. And then we sit up and talk about which devil we going to choose to be the president or the mayor. You know, none of them devils giving a care about us. We need to be talking about what we going to do and stop talking about what they did to us. You know, there's a lot of people really want to fight back, but scared. There's a lot of people really want to go, but scared. And we need to just stand up and make a decision on what we gonna do. Because this ain't gonna stop. When the country was started by these so great forefathers, we were slaves. Many times I got to say that. We were slaves when this country started. And the black people that was here was killed. It's not for us. It never will be. The voting power right, voting right, we still voting for a devil. God don't even want us to choose a devil. But to break it down to you, the real talk, just Satan took Jesus to the mountain to offer him the kingdom. Jesus laughed at him. You offering me money to worship you? You know how many mansions my daddy got? We talking about voting? Same thing. We choosing a lesser devil. It's still a devil. We in 2012, we got to vote again to see if we get voters' rights. It's all messed up. The NBA boycotted down here in Georgia. A local news station said the NBA boycotted, and all these white folks, these white warriors, these racist people start telling me, we don't care about the NBA. So what? Who cares? Sound like it was justified to me about the white boy killing the black people. You know, a white boy went in the church and killed 9, and he got taken to Burger King right after that. Come on, man. Now, I'm not bitter. I'm trying to wake y'all up to see what's going on. It's not going to change. And true change comes from conflict. So either we're going to stay being slaves or we're going to make a change. That's all I have to say about that.
I know, my son, you gone? I know you still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's tied in with this so-called, you know, Reverend Shaw said something last podcast that they watch us voting to gauge our consciousness, okay? And what I didn't mention at that time, you know, in 2016, 768,000 black folks didn't vote. So they have a way of making sure we don't vote or turning us off. You know, I disagree. If we here, we gonna vote. If we ain't gonna be here, do what we got to do. But that's gonna be another subject. But are we safe, Marshawn? Are we safe? And
Yeah.
I meant to ask Clebo about the militia, but I'm going to talk to you. Are we safe, and do we need militias? Reverend Shaw want to know what we're going to do if we don't have police. Should we have militias?
Yes.
Go ahead, Marshawn. My bad. Oh, you just said yeah. Can you hear me?
I think in the 90s there was something that was really powerful. There was going on with police officers to pull over Hispanics.
You have a
Is
bad.
that
To pull over to
Is that your mic? All right. I don't know if Coach Ron. Okay, Marshawn back. So the question is, we try to get Marshawn back, but Ron.
Yes, sir.
Are we safe, man? Do we need militias? Are we safe?
I would say we are safe here in America. I mean, militia be good, black reinforcement, black law enforcement, black CIA, black FBI. Yeah, it's all needed.
So we're gonna go back with that to our original chat, which was to recap some of these things. So now we already got we see what's happening today. We see ain't too much stop. So when we get to talk about racism in America, I mean, is there any doubt, any question? Because there's still some doubt on the president's side. Because they say, you know, systemic racism. People still question where there's any racism. Well, where do we stand? I don't know if anybody's been watching the Republican convention. Anybody been watching that? And that's what I was saying about voter education. You know, we watched the Democratic convention. If you've been watching the Republican convention, you'll see all the black people that's been lined up, you know, giving out messages to black folks as well as supporting Trump. And for the reasons, you know, they're talking about the Democratic Party has taken advantage of black folks. You know, we always voting with black folks and don't have nothing to show for it. Okay. They claiming that with criminal justice, that it's been Donald Trump is the one that let all the black prisoners out of jail as opposed to Biden and Kamala the one that locked them all up. So they're using those comparisons. They're saying Trump let them out and Biden them locked them up. Okay. And that's why I just say about voter education. You know, I watch both of them. You know, I ain't loyal to neither one of them, but I want to know what they're talking about. And then of course, you know, they had all kind of people crying. You know, how he saved the farmers. You know, and he got the good trade deal, etc., etc., etc. You know, but the one thing that they ain't saying about, and he, you know, he's sending in federal troops down there. And I want to touch on that too because, you know, we talk about maybe not having no militia, it might be good. If you look at every town that was burnt down, we didn't have no militias. Every black town that ever got put together. They came in there and burnt them down. Two things: we didn't have no militia, and number two, they sent the National Guards in and they locked up black people. So when you think the National Guards is going to come to the community and be on the side of black folks, you got another thing coming. History shows that every time the National Guards has ever come in to put down what they call a riot, where black people got killed, the National Guards has always sided with the white population every time. So I'm just saying we got to be precautious, because if you think what's going on now ain't serious, I mean, come on, they just shot another black man down cold-blooded, and the attorneys got on there today talking the mumbo jumbo, how they going to investigate it, when people going to investigate it, they're going to turn it over to another group who's going to investigate it, and then they're going to get to the DA, and then we'll see if we got any evidence to prosecute the police. And on top of that, we want y'all to be patient. Be patient. How long are we supposed to wait? That's a question. How long are actually we supposed to keep waiting? Marshad.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Can hear you now.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm in a place area. You know, in the 90s, there was a time when they was trying to shoot everybody. Police officers were shooting at blacks and they were shooting at Hispanics. The thing about Hispanics, what they did was they start busting back. So it became a fact with the mafia pretty much. If you kill one of us, we kill them. That was a tagline in the 80s and in the 90s when it came to Hispanics and police officers. They've always had that relationship. In fact, police officers were so scared to pull Hispanics over that they would pull Hispanics over. They would wait till a second car come, then they would tell the Hispanics to get out the car because of the shooting. And because the thing is that a Latino can shoot the police officer, go to Mexico for 5 years and come back and be like nothing happened. So they don't do this to Hispanics. They don't do it to anybody else. They only do it to us. They never do it. They know that Latinos, they can. If you thought that they would shoot and kill 6 Latinos this year, police officers, and it will.
Went out again. It went out again.
Connection is really. The connection is pretty bad, but you can see that they always target the ones that they know, and that's us. It's just kind of like they don't look at us as human beings anymore. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a day in the job. In fact, it's starting to seem to me that these killers is coming in these no-name cities. It's kind of like nobody knew what Ferguson was. But after that killing, Ferguson is a household name now. And it's like these cities, they get a lot of money after all this happens. Once they kill a black man, the riots come, the FBI is going to send you money for the riots. They're going to send you money for this. And it's like these cities have found a way to come up by killing somebody. And it's these cities that you don't even know exist that all of a sudden now these murders and these shootings just coming out. It's something weird going on, because I just don't understand, like, with the energy that's in the air and you see what's going on, why a white officer would do that so blatantly. Like, it seemed like, okay, you know, this is the worst time in the world to be trying to shoot a nigga. You would think that they would let up, but the fact that they not is something else in the water, and it needs to be addressed. And the one thing we got to understand is that this coward white boy is not going to knuckle up about it, because if we tell this white boy right now, put all the guns up, put all the weapons for mass destruction up, put all the knives and all the forks up, and let's just use these fists right here, let's just use this, the world would be different tomorrow. The world would be different tomorrow. Racism wouldn't exist if we use this. In fact, if we just said, look, we'll let our women fight our battle for us. If every country, that's every country, any country want it, we'll let our women fight. Our African American women for what? Women on this planet's butt for the security, but they never gonna let us do it the way naturally it's supposed to be done. They're going to continue to cheat, so we're gonna find another way to fight them, because they're not gonna fight with this. They too scared to fight us with this. I would challenge them 70 million to our 30 million right now, just this, and I guarantee you America will change, but they won't change it with this. So we gotta figure out another way, because they don't want to do it the way the law say do it, the way natural order is in place. And then they come out to shoot. Okay, we coming back to get you. What they do, we gonna call the National Guard. What cowardness is that? So why don't the police officers who don't like it just knuckle up with us? Just knuckle up with us. One-on-one, knuckle up so we can finish this. But they're not gonna do it that way. Everybody's not hateful like that. Let's just knuckle up and finish it. If you're not gonna knuckle up and finish it, then we need to do something else. Because we don't need to be policed by these white officers anymore. We need to make another opportunity to say we don't need to be policed by white officers for 500 years. Our relationship with the white man and the black man is too heinous for y'all to secure us, for y'all to protect us. We need to find a new way out, and we need to force that to happen. I digress.
I know one thing. If we as a people gonna participate at all, I mean, we need that voter education and we need that accountability, and we need to lay it down to these politicians what we want, as opposed to them keep on well, we got a bill. We got a bill of reform, and we're going to retrain the police. They come up with some of the stupid ideas. You know, we're going to retrain the police. No, we're going to leave them there, but we're going to teach them. Come on, you keep coming up with, and then you have these politicians going along with it, selling people that garbage. You know what I mean? And I keep stressing voter education, because these politicians stay in office based on our ignorance. As long as we stay ignorant, they stay in office. You know, they ain't trying to, qualified immunity. We didn't even hear about that 5 years ago. You hear no black politician telling you, well, we can't get rid of the police because they got a clause in their union contract called qualified immunity. Then how long they been sitting in office knowing that? I love John Lewis, but he sat there too.
OG man, can I kind of piggyback on my shine a little bit?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, because you know he has some very valid points, and those points we need to keep at the forefront of our topics.
Go ahead.
I want to go into the story of the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse was a horse built by the Greeks and set out here at this Roman gate. It was meant as a gift for them, because at that time it was a time of war. Now they wouldn't go out and get this horse until night fell, and when they looked out, they had 1,000 ships, the Greeks did, out there. Or rather, the Trojans did. Let me reverse that. The Trojans built this horse for the Greeks. And when they looked out and all the ships was gone, they opened the gate and they dragged this horse in. And they closed the gate and they went back to sleep. And while they were asleep, the ships sailed back in. These Trojans came out and opened the gate and attacked. Now, this is the way we have to see ourselves, as these Trojans in America. Do you remember the days we used to call each other Trojans back in the 80s and stuff? What's happening, Trojan? We used to even use that word once upon a time, calling each other. So being here in America, we got to get involved with every institution, every corporation, every job that's in America. We're not being a part of America. We're into ourselves. This is one of the angles we have to take. In order to make a change in this country, we got to get involved in this, because we are in here, but we're not doing everything that we could and should need to be doing. In order for us to change this police mindset, our brothers and sisters going to have to join these forces. In order to change even the military, the national, we got to get in there and start climbing the ranks like Colin Powell did. And we will be able to change that. We need to attack this country from the inside in and not from the inside out. We are here. We have the ability, the capabilities. We're not using our minds. We're allowing them to educate us. And we see the education that we're getting. We need to unlearn what they taught us and relearn what our scholars know. There are two sides to this story, and we're not getting a side from our scholars. So if we get into this America, get into these universities, get into these jobs, get into this law enforcement, start putting brothers and sisters there. That's going to be a brother in there that if he have to address another brother, say, well, I'm not going to kill him first because that's my brother. You know, so we have to get in this America body, man, you know, and our mindsets are not there. It's mean, well, I'm not going, you know, snitches get stitches and all this. We have to change our mindsets. Before we had snitches in our hoods, we had lookouts. We used to look out for one another, and we used to look out for when the police came because we wasn't so drug infested. Well, we had to look out for them. We had to look out for them coming just because we knew what they were up to.
On that point, who wanted to say something? That was you.
I'll say something. And I don't want us to forget again, because I keep bringing this up. This whole thing on law enforcement, I was reading something just yesterday, and they were talking briefly about the training that they get to be insensitive to the community. This is the same thing I brought up about them doing the bulletproof mind training, that where they have the killology concept, where they teach them to kill without reservation or hesitation, to kill without conscience. I know who is even teaching it. And so Dr. David Grossman, professor of psychology out of West Point, had done over 200 trainings, including the LAPD and the CHP. He's been going all over the country. He ain't the only one. And they teaching them. So if they go to training to learn what they're supposed to do, and then they're taught that the community is the enemy, they supposed to govern us in a militarization type of atmosphere, then we have to address who's providing the training. Now, morally, nobody should tell you that you shouldn't kill nobody. You should know that as a grown-ass man. But at the same time, if they're training them, this is what you go into, and you got a bunch of scared-ass white boys out in the Black community that they know nothing about. And then they come in and they pull guns, and their fear of the Black man is to the place where they will shoot a man 7 times in the back in front of his children. It's like, come on now, if y'all can't handle it no better than that, then OG, what you said earlier, then we shouldn't even call your ass. You know, I mean, that's the truth of the matter. So, you know, I just want us to keep remembering, because as long as they got us over here on the wound, we forgot who shot him. And that's what we got to do.
I wanted to get to Marshawn, because he's doing some stuff. I mean, not with Clipper, he's doing some stuff out there in Georgia with training people with the gun club. But I wanted to go back to what Clarence said too. Go ahead. I'll
as far as the gun club concerned, I'm getting it set up where anybody can do it. We're gonna do a 2-day class on Zoom. But the only issue is the one day.
The recording has stopped.
The one day at the range. So we're gonna do everybody can participate in the Zoom classes. It's just on the range day. I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do it for the ones who don't live in my area. And right now I'm getting information on renting out ranges. But as far as the 2-day paperwork classroom is concerned, whoever is interested in getting the license to carry conceal can do that on Zooms we're gonna have set up. I wanted to see.
Will that work in California?
That's what I'm saying. That's something.
Once you get the way the license go, once you get a license to carry, it carries state to state. So some like I think a Georgia license carry for California. So it's once you start getting licensed, it carry from state to state. Georgia, Florida, California, stuff like that. You get one in Arizona, Nevada, it carry 3-4 states. So that's how it works. Once you take if you go on and just learn what you need to learn and take the exam and get certified that way, the other part is probably finding a range in your area and getting it certified as far as payment go with the gun you shoot.
Well, I can fill
That's
your
something.
class up, brother. So you let me know. I can fill your class up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working on that's fine, that's great. And the instructor, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up PayPal for the instructor to get him something and we do it on Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to pay for it, but if you got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed,
Yeah.
everything legal, then
It's all legal. He's certified. He been military, not military, but police. He been in police for a long time, and he's certified teacher.
see, I got to apply again because I didn't retire. I resigned.
Yeah.
So then I have to go get a carry again. If I'd retired, I could have carried for all my life, but I resigned. So I have to go through that or training, whatever, to carry, to even be a security guard now. You got to go through a straight training on that and you get certified with a gun. But if you got something like that that allow you to carry from state to state, and it's legal and all of that stuff, brother, you know, call me.
Hey, when you look at stars who are bodyguards, they bodyguards have guns and they travel with them state to state. So it's possible. This is the same thing. He gonna get you certified up to where if you want to start a security company, you could. You just pay for your insurance. You be that certified up. And he says it's a 3-day course, but 1 day is on the range. So
that's what we want to do. Again, we talk about working with one another, networking with one. But back to what Clarence was talking about. Let me say this here. I know too many people that have been on police force, and they can't do nothing for you. And by the time I wait on you to work your rank up, my kids will be out of college. You know, we didn't try that path. You know what I mean? I know a lot of black police. They can hit. If they stop you by yourself, they might give you a break. But it ain't like they're gonna bend no laws. And like I said, I don't have time to wait on you to become no sergeant and no captain. The community to suffer too much. And the people that need to be on the police force are felons. The only body in our neighborhood that we can really trust is felons. Ex-gang members that already trying to do gang intervention, skip, all of them, they could be police. They ain't gonna qualify to be no police. So all these little young guys you want to put on the police force and hope that they're gonna do something, no, that ain't gonna even happen. They're not gonna happen, okay? Because they're gonna get that blue code of silence is gonna tell them what to do. You're not gonna get on no police force as no black officer and get to running nothing. That ain't gonna happen. And
that is true. That is true and not true at the same time. Okay?
Give it to me.
Because when I went through the sheriff department, there was a bunch of us that didn't play that mess. When I got so many accommodations from the community that they had to put me in public relations because of the way I handled people, because I was from the streets and I worked the communities I grew up in. So it wasn't like I did it like that. But I'm saying a lot of brothers had that same viewpoint. Now, I will say that you had them old busters that wanted to please the white folk and look good in their eyes that were like traitors. But I'm going to tell you, there was some brothers. And not only that, I remember we damn near had a shootout in Main Central Jail. It's like, because many of us, and I was one of them that said, I don't give a damn, I got a gun too.
Yeah.
So
what about the Black Police Association?
Now,
what about that?
From the streets, you know, to even identify what people go through, but you don't have to have a criminal record or nothing. You just got to be straight up and love your community.
One thing
I haven't really seen that with all the police. I mean, I know some good police. They cool with me. You know, I don't have no problem with it. You know, I know Officer Joseph down there. They don't even like him, but I don't have no problem with him. But as far as Officer Joseph, he still walks the police line. You know what I'm saying? He still pushes the police line. You know what I mean? When it comes to community events. But I know there's some good police officers. I just haven't found them been able to make a difference when it comes to the community. And I see the people in our community that's capable of policing our community. Most of them are felons.
Yes.
Most of the guys I respect are felonies.
OG man.
Go ahead.
In any plan that's put together, there's no plan that's not going to work overnight. What we're playing here, even in America, is a long-range planning scheme. This thing has been in operation for 400 years, so we can't expect it to happen overnight. It's a gradual trend. Just like Reverend Shaw said, there's already some people who are in place. They just need those who are going to come in after them that have that mindset like we have, that is willing to step up to make that change. In every institution, not even law enforcement, you can look in the medical industry, technology, the auto industry, just out there where you have to deal with the public at hand. You still gonna have those black Sambos, not Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom was the slave that protected the blacks. It was Black Sambo that was telling on who was escaping and not working. It was Uncle Tom that was putting cotton in other slaves' bags to make sure they had enough to bring in so they wouldn't get beat that night. So we got to straighten a lot of these stories.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to
stereotypes going on.
This is a gradual change. I wish we could change this overnight. So,
I mean, I want the gradual, but we've been waiting more than a gradual. We've been waiting 100 years. So we can't keep saying it's gradual. We've been waiting 100 years. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm 71. I'm 71. I know I've been waiting 71 years. So come on now. I know I ain't with all that gradual stuff. Y'all can sell that one to somebody else. I ain't with that one. I'm gonna let y'all know. I do too many things overnight to be talking about let's wait about 10 years from now. No, I don't even want it. If it's gonna take that long, I gotta find another path. You know what I mean? I'm not waiting no 10, 20 years.
Can I say
I don't
this?
think nobody else want to wait that long.
Yeah. Hey, when you was talking about the militia earlier, and you asked the question, do we have militias? I believe we do have militias, but we call them gangs. They're not organized. See, once our gangs get organized and get protocols, get that respect, get that law and order, get that rank, get that file, then we could come. Like they got that no effing around organization. So yeah, we just don't call them militias, but we have gangs out here and they're armed, but they don't know what to do with what they have.
Piggybacking on what Clipper said, and I just want to get to this too. What you see right here is called Project De-Escalation Gang Violence. This project right here is designed to take our gang members and turn them into community organizers. This is what this whole project is, to change the mindset. You know what I mean? To take our gang members and turn, he's saying they're malicious. Well, I don't want to use the word malicious either, but to take them and train them to be community workers and community organizers. You know what I mean? Don't the police need to be called because Clarence got drunk at the party and getting ready to beat his wife? He ain't got to call you for that. Let's go over there and get Clarence. Go get him. There's a lot of stuff. He out there disorderly, loud and disorderly. You ain't got to call the police for that. There's a lot of things that we can be doing that police don't have no reason to be in there. Oh, you look strange. He in the neighborhood looking strange. Come on, man. You don't even need to be coming in here. You spend 8 hours riding around. Police do, looking for some trouble. They ain't answering no murder calls, none of that, burglary calls. They ain't riding around looking for something. Oh, dude looks strange over there. Oh, he look like they all huddled up over there. Let me go over there and see what y'all up to. No, they don't even need to be doing. The only time the police need to be coming in the neighborhood is when somebody calls for a robbery or a murder. If there's a robbery, somebody raping my sister, I don't need to call the police. I need to go over there and knock him in the head. What did you do? Oh, he's over there molesting the kids. Come down. No, go over there and knock him in the head.
Already.
What are you talking about? Why y'all quit calling the police, call Clarence, call Reverend Shaw, call somebody else. Don't call the police.
Don't call me unless you need me to pray over somebody. I ain't
That's like a hook. Don't call the police.
So with this here, because we're talking about solutions, this right here, everybody know about the 7 principles, right? I know in this part, umoja, unity, self-determination. That's part of the curriculum to teach these people these words and what they mean, how to put them into practice. And then, in our league, we had 16 what we call building blocks. Family, determination, responsibility, trust, loyalty. They don't know nothing about this stuff. You got to send them through an intensive orientation, and then teach them, what they call anger management. Teach them child, sexual abuse. Teach them those classes that they need to know where they can be of service into our community. No, and I don't care about that going to the police. Don't no police clear need to work in your neighborhood if he don't live there. That's the bottom line. If he don't live there, he don't need to work there. For what?
We need to learn conflict resolution.
Yeah, you teach all our kids, all them gang members, all these different life skills, and then let them go back in the community and do block club organizing, put together projects and programs, and let the people pay them. Quit waiting on the government to pay y'all. Pay our own self. They call a thing called taxation without representation. We ain't getting no representation. We get taxed. Why your roads look all tore up if you getting some representation?
If you're a felon, you can't vote. So that's taxation without representation. You still got to pay taxes, but you can't vote.
Yeah. I mean, we getting took, really getting took to the, and I'm going to tell you another thing too about this voting thing. There's 41 million people, black folks in the country. Well, there's going to be 57 Hispanics in the country. We're not even the largest minority no more. All that old stuff, we can't get nothing done politically unless we make deals with people.
Well, it's designed for us to depopulate instead of populate. When you look at the world, black people, melanated people, we always having babies. We populate this earth. But yet over here in America, we can't get above 13% because it's designed in the system to keep us at a certain percentage. You understand? It's designed in the system, and the design in it is death. The design is death. It's either through the food, it's through, if you ain't killing yourself with the food, if you ain't killing yourself with the booze, you ain't killing yourself with the drug, you killing yourself with envy, or you killing yourself with jealousy, or you killing yourself with greed, or you killing yourself with lust. You see, we sitting up in this Babylon country and trying to get along with the get along gang, and all we doing by getting along is killing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We think somebody that dies 80, 90 years old, they had a long life when God gave you 120. But we satisfied with that. You understand? Because if we ain't killing ourselves like that, then we be killing ourselves with depression because we ain't happy with our state of life. We turn on that idiot box and see somebody doing well who just acting, who really ain't doing no better than you, who probably struggling worse than you, check to check or movie to movie, praying for a movie so they don't lose their house, got to move back home to Bucksaw, Arkansas somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? They might be doing worse than us, but putting on a show to keep this whole evil trick going on in the society, to keep us at 13%, to keep us narrow, to keep us dumb, to keep us slaves.
I wanted to really point out these alliances and these collaborations, because we're going to get into stuff later on as we move forward, but you can talk about the abolitionists and people of that time, and when we talked about racism in America, we realized all white people are not the devil, all white people ain't the enemy. Okay, so when we get up to this election, and we looked at 14 million black people voted in 2016. Something like 8-9 million Hispanics or 11 million Hispanics. There were 68 million people that voted against Donald Trump. They voted for Hillary. Add it up. Subtract 14 million plus another 11 million from that 68 million. Donald Trump got 65 million white people. When you subtract that 14 million black folks and the 9 million Hispanics from that 65 million, it only leaves about 40-some million white people. They don't have enough people in the Democratic Party to beat the Republicans. There ain't enough white people. In other words, there ain't enough good white people. Because they all seem to be in the Republican Party. That's only 40 million. So when we look at the system, how racist it really is, just like them abolitionists try to help black people get free, just like they sent people over to Sierra Leone or Liberia, they having a hard problem. That's why they keep saying their democracy is under attack, because they're outnumbered. They are outnumbered. And that's why I said if you look at the Republican convention and you seen the black folks up there talking on behalf of Donald Trump, they are swaying because what they're saying is true. That the Democratic Party has took advantage of black people for years.
That's right.
For decades. That ain't no lie.
Nope.
Kamala Harris can't argue that.
And the
Then when they say Donald Trump did more for criminal reform, letting black folks out of jail, and Biden and Kamala locked them up.
Yeah.
That ain't no lie.
Nope.
You know, well, they need to let the political prisoners free who've been locked up for just talking. Why they still locked up?
Because our black so-called politicians ain't speaking up on it. Because they just getting that paycheck. And we act like, I'm happy for any brother to get a paycheck. I'm happy. But don't be playing me. Don't really play me. I hate this election. I've heard more about reparations this election than I did when Obama was in office.
They owe us reparations. They owe us. It's a law. It's a law.
And OG, let me say this. We as a people have to be wise, and we have to look at the system with an unbiased eye, because here we are in the fight of our racial life, and the Democrats put up Joe Biden, who wrote the prison laws, and Kamala Harris, who was an attorney general, who put most of us behind jail because of those laws.
Yeah.
So, and all of a sudden,
both of them.
It seemed to me, and I'm not really good. Everybody that know me know I don't give a damn who get in office, to tell the truth, because it doesn't matter. We gonna get game on this side, or we gonna get game on the other side. Right. The reason I like Trump has to do with something that nobody is thinking about. Maybe the reason I like Trump is because of the fact that when Trump hit that office, black people start collaborating, start working together, because we didn't expect nothing. But when we working under these Democrats, they pull stuff like they doing. We talking about defunding the police, and they putting the money over in mental health. How come they ain't putting it in our community? Because they running that same old shift on us.
Yeah, look.
Always.
It sound like Biden and Kamala got a problem with black men. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, I'm
American white man.
But all I'm saying is I'm sick of them always saying that the Republicans is the racists. And when that boy was out there taking pictures of the birds, and he asked the lady to put her dog on a leash, that was a Hillary Clinton supporter. Just like they saying the man with the shotgun, with the automatic rifle, was at a Trump rally.
Yeah, front row seat. Look, we go across the board with them. Look, we got to stick together. We can't trust neither one of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Neither one of them, because they all got a problem with the black man. It's been a problem with the black man for 3,000 years. Ever since Jesus walked this earth, a blood, Ever since a brother named Jesus walked this earth, they've been having a problem with us. You understand what I'm saying? They've been having a problem with us.
I agree with what Reverend Shaw said. We need dealing with people, because I try to deal with people. Let's say we was in Africa. Let's say we were living in Africa and we were doing trade with white people. It's about business. Who gonna give you the best deal?
That's what we got to do.
You don't just trade with one person. Even when we was in the drug game, we didn't just buy drugs from one drug dealer. We got whoever got the best deal. That's where we bought it from. You know what I mean? So no, we got to get it right. And so I wasn't mad at the brothers at the Republican Party. You know what I mean? I wasn't mad at them being there, because what they were saying was true. And I was so glad somebody there, because if ain't nobody in there, and when he win, we definitely ain't gonna get nothing. You ain't got nobody in there.
Exactly.
Just like what you said about the police department. If we want somebody in there, we gotta put somebody in there, right, Claire? You know what I mean? And I say that because I encourage my own son to join. He's been there for 10 years and he can't do nothing. You know what I mean? He can't even write off me a ticket. You know what I mean? So with that, Bobby Buck, can you play that for us? We still got Bobby. Let me see. You see, Bobby he got a couple things, but okay, we got Bobby.
On point. So give me showing that.
I just want to show this one more thing. This make you want to leave America.
We're getting shot up now. Wow. Cold-blooded, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you thing too. I'm tired of people standing around watching.
Not doing.
You got a whole block, whole neighborhood. They better start disarming them.
That's why we go in this gun club, getting everybody certified licensed carry.
That's the smart thing. But let me ask you this, OG. Do you think that an armed militia of 100 men, maybe 200 if we can get them, you think they could, and I'm not being funny, but I'm leading up to something. Do you think they would be able to beat the Russians?
The Russians?
Yeah.
Nah.
Do you think?
I mean, it depends. If the Russians came like the Watts or Compton, yeah, I think we could beat them. I think we could beat them because I study military science. You got to outsmart them. A small band of people can beat 100 people. You can take 5 brothers and move faster with them than you could with 100 people.
We can take 10 people and shut down.
We know our neighborhood much better than the Russians. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, if we gonna do that, this thing got to be a full force thing. You can't put people out there to fight for yourself. Everybody got to be in it, because if everybody in it, if everybody ain't in it, then they will shut down those people. They will gun those people down. If they drop bombs on Black Wall Street, what you think they'll do with a bunch of Negroes walking down the street? So we have to.
They did that. They did that with Move too. Yeah, they did that. But you know what? After going through everything, the Black Panther Party and all of that, and even when I was in the Black Panther Party, I realized you can't go to war without the support of the people. The people don't want to fight. My mama don't want to fight. My grandma, my cousin. I'll just be a renegade running out there by my own self. But let me tell you this here. We don't even have to do that. If we really got mad, I hate to say this public, but we really got mad, every black man, woman, and child go to the gas station and get a gallon of gas and look what America look like in the morning.
Yeah.
We don't have to do all of that. We don't have to do all that. If every black man, woman, and child went to the gas station right now, got a gallon of gas in the morning, everybody be sleeping in the street. So we don't have to go through all of that. You know what I mean? I'm hoping America don't ever push us that far. Because no, we're not gonna fight at no disadvantage. Try to go gun for gun, knuckle for knuckle. No, we much smarter than that.
I feel like we should regroup. We should dip, get ourselves together before we talk about fight. Or we should dip, get our own and fight for what we got. Well, really, I know we built this country. We can build another one.
Really, we don't. You know what? Before we do all of that, we just need to do like y'all say. Let's pack up and leave.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's just y'all pack up on up and leave. Right. Maybe after we get through with the gasoline, we'll just pack up and leave. You know what I mean? We'll leave. You know what I mean?
Oh, gee, man.
We'll leave.
Oh, gee. Now, when I go with you, I got to bring my family and everything. You got to wait for us to eat when we get over there?
Yeah, we taking our guns over there with us.
Yeah, we gonna eat. With our hand down, we
taking all our guns with us, and we gonna eat when we get over there.
Now we're gonna hand out. We're gonna help.
Now they're gonna police on us.
I'm raising these chickens. Don't worry, I'm raising chickens, so y'all gonna eat all the chicken wings y'all need.
Okay, I'm gonna do the fish.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
Get you by the way.
Bobby, you got something else for us? Bobby got something else. We got something.
Brother's keeper. And when you say the name Jacob, my brother's keeper. And when you say the name Jacob Blake, make sure you say father, make sure you say cousin, make sure you say son, make sure you say uncle, but most importantly, make sure you say human. Human life. Let it marinate in your mouth, in your minds. A human life. Just like every single one of y'all and everywhere around the world. We're human. And his life matters. So many people have reached out to me telling me they're sorry that this happened to my family. Well, don't be sorry, because this has been happening to my family for a long time. Longer than I can account for. It happened to Emmett Till. Emmett Till is my family. Philando, Mike Brown, Sandra. This has been happening to my family. And I've shared tears for every single one of these people that it's happened to. This is nothing new. I'm not sad. I'm not sorry. I'm angry. And I'm tired. I haven't cried one time. I stopped crying years ago. I am numb. I have been watching police murder people that look like me for years. I'm also a Black history minor. So not only have I been watching it in the 30 years that I've been on this planet, but I've been watching it for years before we were even alive. I'm not sad. I don't want your pity. I want change.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I just know about the urgency of our situation, man. You know what I mean? We got an urgent situation. We got kids, man. And
like Tupac Shakur.
What they about the parents say about the process. I agree.
And their eyes are bloodshot red. They're obviously stoned, and they come up to.
I studied the Vietnamese. They fought the French. They fought the Chinese. They fought the Koreans. They fought the Americans. You talk about time. They were little kids fighting. But see, our little kids go through these breakdown. We don't know why they fighting. They don't even know what to fight for. So we don't have that luxury. It would be different if our kids had that continuity. If we kept on training them and they know why they was fighting. You got kids they don't know nothing about Malcolm. They don't know nothing about King. They don't know nothing about him. They can't even read books. We tell them to go read a book, knowing they can't read a book. So we got some serious problems. You know what I mean? We really got some serious problems because, like I said, we tricking our own self. We want to vote, but we don't even have no kids. Our population going down, but we're going to depend on the voting system. That's crazy. When you know you need numbers, why would you stop having kids? Oh, don't have no kids till you get a good education and a good job. That's what they sold us, that bill of goods. Don't have no kids till you have a good job and an education. And I've seen everybody at the nightclub. I've seen them playing numbers. They can't afford no kids, but they can afford numbers. They could go to the club every weekend. They can smoke crack. We trick our own self.
Well, OG, let me just tell you this so you know where we've gone down. We have had, as Black people, over 20 million abortions in this country. We have subscribed totally to the eugenics practices of Margaret Sanger and those people. See, one of the problems we have is we turn our people, we go to these schools and we learn their way. And then we come back and teach it to our less learned people without ever inspecting, questioning, or doing any deep research. See, the reason they got our educational system so messed up is because when we go to college, it is so hard on most of us that if we just get through, we happy and whatever they taught us must be right. Because otherwise, why is it so difficult? The way I break this mental health down, the way I stand up to these people, debating Harvard professors and psychologists and stuff, and never losing to them, is because I've learned their subject in certain areas better than they know it themselves. When they hear me say certain things, they already know they lost. When they say it's a chemical imbalance of the brain, and I say, that theory has already been debunked by some of the top psychiatrists in the world, then they know they can't beat me because I'm not supposed to know that. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to also, in our education, make sure that whatever we get in our masters, because we're supposed to be a master in it, whatever we get our doctorates, we're supposed to be the elite. We got to make sure we actually have a doctorate and not have been indoctrinated in a system that has already failed. Right. That's what we got to do. So I know it's difficult, but when I hear these educated Black men, women talk about, I have the right for my body and all that, of course you do. You didn't have to go to white folk to tell you that, but they didn't tell you that whole philosophy was designed especially for you. And when you look at Bill Gates and see his daddy was part of that movement, and now you want to go take his vaccine, this is what I'm saying. And I'm just telling you. So when people say, I got a doctorate and that means something, Like, what does that mean? I'm an expert in such and such. Really? Can you fix it? No? Are you an expert in the economy? Can you fix the economy? Well, no, we can't. Then you ain't no damn expert. See, this is the way we have to start thinking. And when we start thinking like that, now you are a troublesome Negro.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, what they said, good trouble. Good trouble.
Come on now. That's right.
So,
And
go ahead.
to piggyback on Fred Shaw just a little bit, you know, to go maybe a step on the side of him. We have our own scholars. We have our own scholars that tell a different story. We have been educated by the villain. If we allow to continue to tell the story about the Three Little Pigs is never going to be right, never going to look good. But if we go to the Little Pigs and hear what they have to say about the werewolf, they will let you know that he's a vicious killer and he don't care. So we have our own scholars, and I'm going to give y'all this website where we have our own scholars, our own history that tells a different story from the histories that America taught us. This website is unitedblackbooks.org. Go to this website. A lot of these books are free. A lot of them cost $1. They're from our doctors, our scholars. Man, I was just reading this book, African Holistic Health. I was reading the introductory this morning by Lialo Africa. He just passed away, I believe, earlier this year or late last year. And he was going through the history of medicines and why they gave our African doctors a bad name and why we grew up in school learning that they were bad, giving the name of witch doctors and all this kind of stuff, and voodoo and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, voodoo.
Where the Europeans got their education and knowledge from them. But because our doctors were holistically health providers and curers and treaters, whereas, let me give you the example. If it was something wrong with your mind, they not only treated your mind, they treated your body and spirit. If it was something wrong with your spirit, they not only treated your spirit, they treated your body and your mind and so forth. So when the Europeans got educated from Africa with medicine, you can go research it. They separated it and made it into a business. So because all three are connected, mind, body, and spirit, it all makes up our chemistry of our soul and our body. So if something wrong with your body, you go to the hospital. Something wrong with your mind, you go to the psych. Something wrong with your spirit, you go to church. But if anything is wrong with any of those elements, the other two are out of order. So this is a business, and they keep us ignorant about the cures which our holistic health doctors have through our plants, fruit, nuts, and our berries. They keep us ignorant. How do they do that? They create research centers. And in these research centers, they mix these chemical compounds where our body cannot digest them. They have side effects. You see them on TV every day. If you got this, you're taking that, call this lawyer. So this is how they keep us ignorant. And then when they find the right chemical compound, they say, oh, we made a discovery. So this is how they take the credit from our doctors and giving it to themselves. So I just wanted to add that little bit, that we as Blacks, the reason we're having a tough time adopting to this American way of life is we are the only race not connected to our own education. We need that dual education. We've been given one by this country where we're all killing and fighting, hate each other, and the drug infested, the criminology, and all that other stuff. So we need to get back to our own roots.
Another admin.
What's the website again?
Go ahead.
What's the website again, Clarence? United Black Books?
UnitedBlackBooks.org.
.org.
Yeah. But on that same thing,
some of them just call it. Go ahead, OG.
They don't even like medication. You can get your medication, all them different, all them pills they give me. I got medication. I mean, I got my Medicare, whatever they want. But you can't use that for the so-called witch doctor. If I want to go to my witch doctor, or I want to go and get me some herbs, you know what I mean? They don't want to pay for that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that's a added thing. That's why it's not such an incentive. And we could get paid to go. You know what I mean? We could get it, the Medicaid, whatever, and then put it on there. Go get your herbs. Oh yeah. But they're not going to do that, you know what I mean? Because, again, like you said, it's about that money and about that business, you know what I mean? The two things I wanted to say, we're going to be having a podcast, I already said to everybody with the women. And like what the sister was saying, what Bobby was showing, I don't think we can really go too far as men until we really have a good discussion with the women, and get them on board. That's why I've been pushing that on getting some sisters that's really active in the movement to give us their opinions and stuff in terms of what they would like to see the men do, so that we'd have their support on whatever we do, Reverend Shaw, you know what I mean? Whatever we do, we'll have their support. And but the other thing too with the women is, I'm just saying it, I know a lot of women, they don't get along either. So we need to get past that situation even with them. You know what I mean? They need to be able to get along.
That woman that was on that video, that was Jacob Blake's sister.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I've noticed a lot of sisters, militant, radical, they got some great ideas, but as we move forward as men, we need their support. You know what I mean? I think it'd be good to have a good conversation with them, and that's why that podcast is there. And there was a few other things, and also when we were talking about Clebo with the gun club, and what I was talking about doing with the de-escalation program, we want to have a podcast where we can simply deal with proposals. A lot of us got ideas. Some of them don't know how to write proposals or whatever, but we need to get that stuff on paper. And the reason why I say that is, if you can't get no funding from the government, you can get private funding. Don't always just go to a state, local government. They got big corporations that want to fund. You might get some money from Oprah Winfrey. You never know. You know what I mean? So, even like they talk about the NBA, we need to be hitting up some of them NBA players. You know what I mean? But you got to have something in writing. Don't nobody want to hear about, I got an idea. They want to see it in writing. We need to amass as many proposals as we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me know when that go down, because I got a lot of stuff I need stuff written up for.
Yeah, we need that, you know what I mean? So that we can start. And also, when you have proposals, even if you can't get no funding, you know what it takes to make that business work. It's already been put together, and we need that. So those are some of the things. And also, Reverend Shaw, we know the Arabs, the Taliban hijacked your podcast. You and Bobby. So we were trying to get you to do the podcast on a Wednesday. I don't know if y'all want to consider that. Coming back and doing the criminal justice podcast. And I know I talked to Mershad and the Clebo about doing a podcast specifically on their projects, so that we can start getting this ball going. Now, you're on mute, Reverend Shaw. You're on mute. Let me see. You're on mute.
Okay, yeah, we can work that out. To some of the people that were involved right here, we might want to do more than one, because I had a nice panel there, but a lot of people here can fit on a panel and do the same type of discussion. I think it's good to mix it up and get a lot of different people involved. But whatever you brothers need me to do, y'all helping me, backing me. Whatever you need me to do, you just say it.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna say this here. I need, but I talked to Clifford, I talked to Mashawn. They've got different projects, just like we talked to you about the Clifford. I need for y'all to do the hosting. I don't need to host all the shows, Clarence. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the hosting is a little different than just being a commentator. You can just cuss everybody out. I got to make sure everybody get a chance to have some input. That's why I got to keep it moving. So I'm just saying, y'all gonna have to start hosting the shows, because the topics y'all want to talk about. You know what I mean? But just keep it to that same format. If you're gonna host a show, get your guests and keep it moving too. You know what I mean? Get everybody to have their input, because that's what we want to do. Get the solutions too. So, whatever topic you got, Mashad, he got a whole lot of topics. Clifford got some, and Bobby got some, and whatever else. I know I want to deal with the gang. You said we're gonna turn them into a militia, whatever you're gonna turn them into. Claire, let's hurry up and get them going. Boy Scouts.
But no, actually, to tell you the truth, if these brothers going to be at war, then they need to be at war for their community. And I'm not saying that they got to be shooting people and stuff like that. But do you know how empowered these brothers came together and they were there to protect the community and stuff? If we did that, we'd wipe out even the need for. The best way to fire the police is just not commit crime, so we don't need them.
That's what I'm talking about.
So if those brothers is all united,
well, I know I'm working on it,
and they're working together, and they helping the community and stuff like that, and then we force. Let me tell you something. Just in the voting power of the Crips and the Bloods, added on to the voting power of blacks already voting, do you know we could put anybody in and out of office that we wanted to?
Yeah, they got.
We could have the money coming into the community, and then these brothers could be a part of the society and get paid through the different programs.
Yep, exactly.
See, there's ways to do things, but we got to walk in there. We can't walk in there with our hat in our hand. We got to walk in there graciously and demand. That's when
and see, that's why I mentioned a couple of weeks ago with our gangs. We need to start legalizing our gangs, turn them into corporations, turning them into nonprofits where we can get this money, where we can create jobs and get rid of all that. My other point was, let me share something that I experienced in my life. I grew up a Crip, and my neighborhood was practically across from the Nickerson Gardens, across the street from Circle City Bloods. When I lost my house in Torrance, and I had to move at 1376 East 111th Street, right next to the Nickerson Gardens, right where you walk into the Nickerson Gardens from 111th Street behind Vermin Day. When I didn't even let my homeboys knew I was moving over there. But when I turned that corner in that U-Haul truck on 109th and Central, back around Hooper behind the WLCAC, they had that whole wall painted red with my hood, FSC killing up. I say, man, I know these guys can't know that I'm moving here and I ain't told nobody. But what I want to share with you in this experience is, while I was living there, the same LAPD that patrolled the Front Street over there where I came from is the same officers that patrolled the Nickerson Gardens. And what I saw in those 4 years that I lived, I say the same oppression that they're putting over here in this neighborhood, they go to the next neighborhood and apply that same oppression. They apply that same separation and create hate to divide our community. I saw this, man. I saw them jacking those young guys up, doing the same thing that they were doing over in the community where I grew up in the community over here. So this is something that we need to exploit within all of our communities. It's the same police who patrol in 4 or 5 different gang neighborhoods, creating the same hate, the same oppression, applying the same violence to all these communities, and they put in the minds that this community hates to hate that community over there, and that community to hate this community. They've been doing that for years. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why if they don't live in the neighborhood, they don't need to be even working in the neighborhood. Because that's the kind of negativity they bring into the neighborhood. They're not here to protect and serve. You know what I mean? So again, like I say right now, you're already hearing. I mean, we understand politics. some things
Yeah,
you can't
let me
say.
share this beautiful point. Let me share this beautiful point. The 4 years that I lived over there, when I first moved there, I've written this book, Regulate the Manual, about this gang and stuff. So I knew all about it, been there, done that. So when I first moved there, I could hear the chatter. They knew who I was, where I came from, but I know I couldn't respond because that's their neighborhood. And within 2 years, once they knew who I was, those same guys was coming by calling me Mr. Allen. So they treated me and respected me for the man who I was, not where I came from. And that's how we break down these blocks of separation, by getting to know each other, building these bridges back that's been torn down.
Well, on that same note, like in the proposal of a de-escalation, all these gangs pretty much have a boundary line. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know, sometimes it's in dispute or whatever. So in writing up the proposal, you know, even when I get with Skip and Taco them, if we put something together in your neighborhood is on a boundary of another, we need that other neighborhood to participate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not so much do it in your own neighborhood, but we need them to be doing the same thing, organizing in their own neighborhood. So it wouldn't do me no good to put together a project and it just covered your neighborhood, but on the next block, there's brothers over there need a job and you can't help them because they ain't from your street. You need those brothers over there doing the same thing, because what Reverend Shaw was saying, even about the gun, Ron Crockett's he's on the podcast with us. When we were downtown, man, we've been downtown sweeping up the streets of Skid Row for almost 15 years. And to get Ron Crockett and all of these gang members to push a broom, I had to explain to them that broom was an AK-47. Don't think of it as a broom. Picture it as your AK-47. Picture that garbage can as a bomb. Picture those garbage bags as bullets. Okay? Once they understood it that way, they took pride in carrying that broom. There ain't no punks. I ain't got no punks on my team. But I know we can't be walking around with no AK-47, but we can walk around with them brooms. And I'm going to tell you, God showed me, them brooms did more damage than an AK-47 did. We have more respect downtown because of them brooms than we did for carrying no guns. People know us for them brooms, them garbage cans, trash bags, blankets, food. They know we give them everything. And the police, they hate it, but they can't stop us on that. You can't take a broom away. They can't take no trash, which they have done it, but it backfires. Every time they take a broom from us, the people see it. Every time they take a garbage can from us, the people see it. And it just gave us more respect. So imagine that. Imagine your gang members start cleaning up your neighborhood. Don't even ask for no money. What would happen in 30 days? In 30 days, they did it every day. That same liquor store they hang in front of, that same park they hang in, what would happen if they start cleaning it up? Imagine that.
It's a lot of things like that we can do as a community. It's a lot of things that the brothers who see, it is time that we take the stones that the builders rejected and create our new houses. And, you know, the Crips and the Bloods and them, it's time that they come back to the community. They are a trusted source in the community. Let's start demanding that these people, it's real simple. If you have another 50, 60,000 votes, you can just walk up in there to the state senators and say, look, we need funding for this, and this, and we got to put this in, and we got to put that in. And if they say, well, we ain't helping y'all do that, okay, cool. You just ain't elected again. That's all. We got the force. We can pass. We got the manpower to pass out the literature. They cannot be a unified force.
That's right.
They cannot do it.
And that even goes to local organizations. Every organization has an election. Don't the NAACP have elections every year?
Mm-hmm.
Urban
Every 4
League.
years. Mm-hmm.
See, all you got to do is join them and vote them up out of there. And don't think they have guys to do that. That was a trick of mine back east. You know what I mean? We'd take 100 people in there, join your organization, and vote your whole board of directors out. You know what I mean? Just like that. So there's a lot of strategy you can do. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things you can do, but you got to know, you got to have some education. Go back to education. And with that, I see Bobby Buck, you signaling me, man. We'll get Reverend. Anybody got any final words? Final wisdom? Man, that's it.
Yeah, we almost 2 hours in. Everybody ready to go?
Everybody ready to go. Okay, prayers out there, Reverend Shaw.
All right,
let me Reverend Shaw, prayers out. I want to thank all you brothers, man, for coming on. I want to give you all the commendation that I can, OG man, you and Bobby Buck, for putting this together every week.
That's right.
And dedicated to it. Brother Mashawn, Coach Ron, Brother Clifford. I want to commend you three brothers. You brothers are here in it. You brothers are here in it and with it every week. I apologize that I haven't been with y'all in these last few weeks. I've been traveling back and forth, and some of those days in my travels has been preparing to travel or been traveling while the Zoom has been in progress. Reverend Fred Shaw, I thank you for coming aboard, man, with your phenomenal wisdom and knowledge. You know, everybody brings a part to this show to keep this foundation strong. So I just want to say I love all you brothers, man. I thank God for creating each and every one of you, man, and bringing you in my life. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Same here. Much respect and love.
All right. Let us.
Hey, I appreciate all y'all the knowledge y'all giving.
Love you, Cleveland boy. I remember the gun club, man.
I
Sign
know
me up.
Okay.
Yeah. All righty, here we go. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to come together. We thank you for the blessing of wisdom that comes from all of these brothers. We thank you for the elevation of spirit to where we can all operate and cooperate with each other. We pray, oh Lord, at this time that we can go out into our communities and spread this knowledge unto others so that they can also join in a single movement that can do your will and change the fate of our community. We ask that you bless the families of all the people who have been shot, the people who have been killed. We ask that you encourage them, you give them strength, you give them power, and you give us the will to continue in this great fight so that we can serve your purpose. We ask this in the precious name of all of the saints and the spirits and Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, then. I thank all y'all, man. Love y'all.
Yeah, y'all better pray for me now. My wife gonna beat the heck out of me being on the phone.
Yeah, boy. We gotta stop this violence. We gotta keep this peace. We gotta come together and do what's right, y'all. I put in work. I had no shame. At the time, it was part of the game. Now I see opportunity for you and me to have a unity. I look in your eyes every day. You're tired of this mess anyway. Children are dying, mothers are crying, while the politicians look the other way. We need another day to see the light, a new way. Stop the fight. Peace in the hood, on its way. Peace in the hood.